feel like I want them bands, you know?
I was gonna say that, like, what can you say specifically has your ego you felt forced you into?
The narrative of who I can be as a Black man.
Okay. Okay.
Like, when the narrative of who I am as a Black man. Like, I remember, and yeah, Alex, you might have had the same thing happen too. It was like, once you did something that wasn't considered in the box of Black, you're getting called white boy or blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, oh man, I have a role I have to play.
Oh, yeah.
And so then you start talking differently. You start listening to what's Black music. You start putting yourself in this box. You're like, all right, I'm gonna make it out either through military, sports, or I gotta sell dope.
Right.
You're giving yourself these three options, like, because you're a Black man. This is what is taught in the music that you're listening to. This is what is portrayed on the TV that you're watching, and who you can be. This is who other people are kind of expecting you to be. So you got to play that role. So I don't remember what the question was or how I got on that topic, but like for me, that's all. When you learn about the ego, that's all ego though. The ego puts definitions and limitations on things. And so like shedding the ego is all about, again, listening to the divinity and being open to be who that tells you to be, not what you're seeing on TV or what other people are telling you to do.
Right.
Yeah. That's all out of ego. It's all out of flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you. Yeah, I think, concepts, definitions, you see it a lot in politics. Well, a term I've heard recently is identity politics. When someone is attached to a particular title or a viewpoint of the way something is supposed to be, they've limited themselves from seeing it any further than it can be. And unfortunately, I think with our culture, and this happened even way back in, slavery days, you know what I'm saying? It's always been a thing where we felt like if somebody was any different than us, but they were us, it made us feel uncomfortable, as if like, they were trying to step away. It's like, where you going? So you're not one of us no more. You know what I'm saying? And
right,
it's like, no,
right.
it's like we all together. We can be different variations. We have been brainwashed into thinking that it's only one way that we can be. We've been brainwashed into thinking,
right.
Like when you say somebody talking Black or Black music, or talking, white or white music, me, with music, that's something that I recently have been so proud, that the music industry as a rapper, you won't have to worry about the term urban being used as much as it was before. Award shows are starting to change that to where they're not even using the word urban in certain awards or in departments at the labels, because people are like, okay, so this is another way to say Black. What does Black mean? I'm just a human being like you are. So why do I have to be labeled? You don't understand that there's so much of a nuance to a Black man, that you have already chopped me off at the knees. You've already narrowed my gap, thinking that I can't go any further based on your interpretation. And when we do that to ourselves, to me, that's like a self-hate thing, 100%. Whether we even realize that or not.
100%.
That's a self-hate thing. And
yeah, I even remember getting made fun of because I made good grades in school. Like I would hide my report card from my friends because I wasn't ready for them to ride on me. Because like it was like cool, like to be Black. It was like cool to be dumb and cool to be like, I'm not even gonna try in school. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, we've made that our narrative. Like we like let's pull from the Asians and like have that be our stereotype that we're really good in school. Like I want that stereotype. You know what I'm saying? Like why did we choose that one for ourselves? We chose it for ourselves because we act out of it. You know what I'm saying? People are like, oh, we didn't choose that. The narrative was painted. No, like when you act out of it, that's your choice now to be that.
Right.
But something I've learned though, people that young Black kids, right? That could as you hear, and I used to get offended. I'm starting to not get offended as much when people tell me I speak well, because I feel like that's a backhanded way of saying, oh, okay, I thought you couldn't articulate yourself like that because you were Black.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress. When I see people like us that are very articulate Black men, at certain points when we were younger, look at people who were not as articulate and feel like maybe we were more than, I even feel guilty about that, because when you understand systemic racism and understand like, redlining and things like that, not to get so political, when you look at what happens as far as like education, some people, they don't even have access to the same books that we might have had access to going to certain schools, you know what I'm saying? And when you realize that they have been, you know, handicapped at that level, it's like, man, it's like this is like a divide and conquer tactic that it almost seems like. And it's like, we have to take the initiative and know, like, no, there is no divide. You know, we are still one. We're still 100%. We're a human just like everybody else. And, you know, it's just, you know, we don't know what the story is going to hold. Like you said, with your son, you know, you don't really want to instill too much of what you went through on him, because by the time he gets to our age, he might not even have to experience that. So why even embed that into his brain?
Right. Because that's like the same thing as passing down racism, like, or passing down anything. Like racism exists because it's passed down. But like paranoia and fear and anger is something that can be passed down too.
Yeah.
You know, where he might not have to go through that.
Yeah.
Well, Hope said, Hope did that. So hopefully you have
to go through that. Yeah. One of the most classic lines. Yeah.
Alex literally just said that yesterday.
Yeah. That's one of the most classic rap lines ever.